Barbados, get up. Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Barbados, good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Morning to you.
It's already Tuesday, March 26th. Good morning. Welcome to another presentation. We are coming your way live from the Wildey Show Standard, our partner for the next couple of years, we're hoping. But it's wonderful to be here in this good spot and seeing what's happening out. The roads around Barbados become more busy. And behind, I'll be here with you until 8 o'clock this week. We can have some fun today as well. A special welcome to those of you who are watching online, of course. Always good to have the diaspora as a part of our discussions. Now, coming up on today's show, a friend to the show, the Resources Management Association of Barbados, Nicholas Roberts, is going to be in. And he's in with Cecilia Neblett-Brathwaite, who is the Director of Behavior Change, and they're talking about in place and behavior change together and separately. We'll see how that one works out, because a lot of the times we have discussions they really center around our children, but times we are bullied at work. I'll tell you who in just a bit. So talking about Cry, Water, and Blood, and a story that's coming up. We're going to tell you about it with Amanda Cumberbatch, who's director in theater, the UEK. Sophia, who's a veteran performing artist, will be here as well. And her, who's going to be a part of that presentation. So all of that should be about it and tell you how you get to be a part. Plus, comic shop will be here. Kimel Marshall and dancers were a part of a 9-member Jamaica. We're going to tell you how they are changing the way people view and the part it plays in peacemaking and all types of other things in just a bit. Plus, teaching children with special needs. What does it entail? Christine Roberts, who is going to be talking with special needs, particularly as we continue to observe March as of the disabled. We definitely want to get into these types of discussions. Not only those of you with, or those with children have challenges, but who are yet undiagnosed, to make sure that we're going in that right direction. It's week for 2 weeks, University of the West Indies. There's, of course, which is the department that takes care of all performing arts and everything else. So we're going to be talking in economic coordinator, logistics, and supply. Gavin Bovell will be here. But we want to start a discussion talking about the Faculty of Culture, Creative and Performing Arts. And we've invited lecturer in music, Dr. Stefan Walker. And also here is Deandra Daniel, who's a third-year film studies student at
Good morning.
Good to have both of you with us.
Thank you.
Deandra is looking all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Yeah, are you a morning person?
I am. This is not usually how I start my mornings, but it's good to be.
When you say this, you mean being out and about?
Yeah, it's usually a nice calm meditation, go back to sleep.
It's different when you have to come out to work so early. It's kind of like a goal. You have to be in go mode all the time. And I know, Stefan, accustomed to all hours, but mostly late nights.
Yeah, not this morning. I was never a morning person, not this early to be functioning and communicating as you.
And here we are, come ably, so maybe it's rubbing off on you, but good to have both of you here
Thank
with
you.
us. Always good to see friendly faces in the morning. So talk to me a little bit about your involvement with the program, Stefan. I know for us, seeing you as a performer through the years, you've kind of grown on Barbadians. Your music is loved here and abroad, and then to see you moving to the area where you are sharing your craft, I think it hits different. It means different when we see the people we love who are entertaining and creating music and so on move into that space. So let's talk about that transition.
Yeah, I was actually part-time at the university for a number of years, but in 2020-21, I worked on the degree program, the first degree program in Barbados with Mr. Andrew Militant, and it was approved and launched. So we had our first cohort really between 2020 into 2021 of students doing the BA in Music with Education program, and then the BFA in Music came on a year later. So at the moment we're based at the Mutual Building, the old Mutual Building in Bridgetown, so we're not on main campus, and it's a very fledgling department program at the moment, where we're looking to move in, make it our home, and get more people down and knowing about the BFA and BA programs in music. The students at the moment are very ambitious. We have our student music coordinator, Miss Julia Boyce, who's very ambitious and wants to make us known and wants to make all of Barbados remember that there's a program actually situated in Bridgetown.
You are also one of these people whom I would imagine you would have been able to straddle what it was like before, with people not sure that they can do music and the arts full time, to a place now where we have a third level student who is all in. You know, what was that transition like for you? Were you able to see the light down the road?
Well, for me, I was fortunate in that I was in the first ever BCC cohort as well too. And in BCC, we had Mr. Gittins and Mr. Roger Gittins' generation and Mr. Andrew Woodman's generation. They really laid the framework, or Arturo Tapia and Nicholas Branker. So it was a little, it still wasn't generated. I know one lady told my mother that, what am I doing music for? I should go and do something else, coming from the secondary school I went to. But fortunately, we have those changing slowly, and soon there's going to be another when a child says they want to do music, they want to do the arts, it's going to be more accepted and they're going to get more encouragement as people see successes. So it's important to know that the BFA and BA students, as well as anyone who's involved in the arts, really show a level of professionalism where it's looked on at the same, they're taken with the same level of respect as other professions. All
right, excellent. With that said, it's a great segue to you, DeAndre, to talk to us about your foray into the program.
Mm-hmm. So I think it's really important what you said, Stefan, about students not necessarily getting a good response when they say that they want to do the arts. I definitely struggled with that a lot. So I did my first year in journalism at the University of Mona, albeit online because of COVID. But ultimately, I realized I needed to have that creative outlet. I needed to commit to that, and the faculty here was more than equipped to take me in, and it has really been a space that has helped me hone my skills, develop my skills, figure out what I want to do going forward. So yeah.
Talk to me about the particular program that you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing film and cultural studies, which is very interesting.
It is. So I'm doing a cultural studies course this semester, but what I'm officially written down as having done is I'm reading for a bachelor's in creative arts with a film concentration. So thus far I've been really focusing on a lot of film courses, introduction to film, documentary, different things like that. But because of how our faculty is set up, I'm able to do electives within the cultural studies course.
All right, sounds like it truly is some exciting times ahead for the programs and for the departments and faculties as well. Now for Open Week, I know there are a number of things that are happening, and this means oftentimes that you guys are showing us exactly what you're doing on the practical side of things.
Yes, for sure. I know there are visiting lecturers in for the week, working with the students and working with other secondary school students who are capable of attending. And it was also a crazy time at secondary schools. Unfortunately, we weren't able to reach out to enough music students because just busy times, inter-school sports, everyone is taking up with that, taking up all the oxygen. But we'll be attending a workshop with Dr. Nicholas Branker on Wednesday morning. May not be officially part of the program, but that's where the music students are looking to go and have that interaction with a true major master. So that's going to be falling to our own faculty week as well too. So moving forward for us, we're going to be seeing a lot more of the music students bringing up music as part of the faculty, as well too as the big band. UB Big Band has some exciting projects planned as well too in the future. And hopefully, yeah, we're going to be bringing in the numbers and keeping the cultural music flag flying high in Barbados.
Do you want to tell us a little something about the 2024 Arts and Letters Anthony Sagba Laureate Award, sir?
Oh yes, please. I was fortunate to win that award this year.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. It was a process in even getting to that stage in terms of it's very stringent, very stringent demands they place on you in terms of the application process. I had a fantastic team led by the Barbadian Local Committee, and it was rewarding for the work I've put in over the years, including with this program, in trying to make, I think, the Caribbean just a little bit better in terms of music and culture. So I'm very grateful to that award, and I look forward to the award ceremony in the future.
That's beautiful. We look forward to seeing you. We usually show that award ceremony on TV8. So I'll be in the background shouting, I know him. Yeah, and he told me he wanted before I'm singing here. All that good stuff. I will absolutely be doing that, cheering in the background. Now, you know, as for our students in film, you know, what strikes a lot of us who work in television and production is all of a sudden it kind of ruins watching television and film and so on for you, because all of a sudden you're looking with a different eye. You know, what are some of the subtle or maybe even stark changes that you've experienced since you started studying film and you're into production and so on?
That's such a good question. Funny enough, I have found myself not wanting to. It has opened my eyes in terms of how I see the world. I now have even more of a respect for the people that work on the behind the scenes. And I find that the combination of actually, you know, holding the camera, sitting at the computer, editing the things, and we're always on our phones. So that has really brought me to a space where I am quite disillusioned with the idea of the screen. But it is a blessing. It's a blessing in disguise because it's bringing me back to my original love, which was visual arts and fine arts and that tactical process. So it really has ushered me right back to where I needed to be.
That's beautiful. I know exactly what you mean. All of a sudden you're seeing where people miss cues. You're picking up where there's no continuity. It kind of ruins the way you looked at television or film before, in a manner of speaking. But, you know, it sharpens your skills at the same time as well. The 1688 Collective, I know this is not necessarily a part of what you do at UEK Phil, but, you know, it would be remiss of me to have you here and not talk about the incredible strides you've been able to make with that ensemble.
Yes, please. 15 years, I believe, this year. The group
Already?
Yeah, already, yeah.
I was going to say, remember when you started, but I take that back.
Yeah, you now don't remember. It's a fresh group to you. Yeah, 15 years already. So it's been in flux now since I have this role, but hopefully you'll be seeing some stuff soon. There are a number of performances on the stove, I'll say. So hopefully next couple of years we'll see some more movement from that group.
First time I've ever heard about on the stove. So interesting stuff. So there's a free art exhibition as a part of what the department is doing for this open week as well. It's called Pebbles Bloomed into Islands, which is very interesting. And it's a collaborative exhibition for students in the art, film and dance and theater and education, sociology, you name it. So let's talk about how you are able to get these collaborations done inter and intra-departmentally and certainly across departments. That's
the mandate of the university moving forward. There's going to be a lot more collaboration among the faculties and among the different departments, because that's where education is going. It's no longer we can live in these silos now and hope that we get the best product from students like DeAndre. It has to be a real collaborative effort in terms of thinking, in terms of knowledge, in terms of resources as well too. So you're going to be seeing a lot more of that cross-collaborative work, cross-faculties moving forward.
All right, good stuff. And what can we expect to see from you in future? I'm sure people ask you this question, quite boring, but very, very relevant.
On the note of the exhibition that you would have mentioned earlier, this is now my second time really getting to see Dr. Therese Hatchery at work. She's a curator, and my hope is once I'm finished this degree to do my master's in curatorial practice and continue to cement myself in the world of academia and visual arts. So that's the next step, and my faculty allowing us these hands-on experiences with professionals and hands-on experiences with the work and mounting an exhibition really helps me feel confident in making that next step.
Truly beautiful. So the Pebbles Bloomed in Islands, the opens Wednesday. That's tomorrow from 6 to 8:30. And or did it start last week, Stefan?
It started last week.
It started last
tomorrow. What's happening tomorrow is there's going to be an interactive moment. So in replacement of the traditional artist talk where you come and you sit and there's a moderator, we're all invited to come and sit and speak with some of the artists whose works are on display.
All right, good stuff. Beautiful. Make sure you come on out because there will be guided tours and a whole lot more. It's wonderful that the university is opening up in this way to the community, particularly as a lot of young ones get ready to move to the next phase in life. So it makes life for us parents a whole lot easier. You get to show and tell. Absolutely love that. Hey, time for a break here in Wildey. The sun is even brighter outside, which we love. So coming up, we're going to tell you a whole lot more about what's happening at UE. Stay tuned.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Morning Barbados is on the move, and we're coming to you every weekday morning from right here at the Standard Showroom in Wildey. Now, together, we're giving you an opportunity to win. All you have to do is submit a photo of that room that you want to see changed in a fantastic way. And the interior design curator here at Standard and all of their experts are going to get together and select the room that needs the most work. It just might be yours. All you have to do is submit your photo to info@standard.bb, and you could be here with us saying, "Morning Barbados, look at my beautiful space."
Morning to you.
Tune into CBC Newsnight for the NISS Business Report, a comprehensive look at the local, regional, and international business world every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday during CBC Newsnight. Brought to you by the National Insurance and Social Security Service. More than a contribution, it's your lifeline.
Every day at 7 p.m., we bring comprehensive news package because keeping you informed is our #1 priority. Whether it's local, regional, or international stories, our commitment is to you and keeping you reliably informed. Join us every day at 7 p.m. for CBC Newsnight.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb. From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison Cave, the tantalizing Oystons Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Welcome back to you. Not lots happening at schools. Second last week, as we would call it. So next week is the last week for the little ones, and then it's holiday again. And I keep thinking, how does this happen so fast? When I was at school, I didn't feel like I had so many holidays, and they most certainly did not come this quickly. I think they've been cutting the term in half. Parents, we have to pay closer attention. Yeah, so this morning we are kind of delving into the arts, and I absolutely love it because art really is in everything we do. The creative arts make up pretty much our entire built environment and everything in between. So it's wonderful to have with us now two who are no stranger to Mornin Barbados and a new face. So joining us, we have Tiffany Amber Williams, who's an actor.
Yes,
And little Zion Rose, who's also an actor and has been here with us before, and Talal Nome, who is a novice actor. They told me to put novice in front of it. I don't know if that's on your asking, but we will find out why. So we're here to talk all about Cry Water, Then Blood, and historical drama. So I'm going to start with you, Tiffany Amber. Good to have you back with us.
Thank you so much.
All right, so tell me a little bit about this particular historical drama.
Yeah, so Cry Water Then Blood is a historical drama loosely based on the 1816 rebellion, the Buster Rebellion. And it's an imagination of that story that's come from that, basically. And there is a lot of drama within it, yes, because as we know, history was a lot to handle. The slave history was a lot to handle. But it's also really nice to see the characters develop and to see them as a three-dimensional character, and I think that's really nice to have the characters shown in that way. Amanda did a great job as the playwright and then also as the director as well. I don't want to give away too much with the play. Definitely have to come and see it.
She's off to the side directing even now, so
Yes.
so we understand why. Because I mean, it's a very interesting way to kind of keep history alive.
Yes.
Because that's what we need to do. Zion, tell me about how you became involved in this particular play.
Well, Cry Water, Then Blood is an interesting show to me. I never did theater before, so this is my first time doing theater, but it's just back in the days with slaves, and he is my master, or it's the same my militia. Yes, but it's an interesting show. Yeah.
Teaching you all about what happened before, and of course, I'm sure there's certain things you are learning off the pages, because a lot of times when we think about learning things like this, it's always in books or teachers telling you, but to be able to do it, to be a part of the story, that's an interesting way to learn, right?
Yeah, it is.
Absolutely, and I know you're a great actor as well. So talk to me now, Talal, about how they were able to convince you to be a part of this, because I'm sure you're the one who said novice at the front.
Well, there was no convincing. I mean, Amanda, she wrote for play, and it's a historical drama, so that instantly drew me. Anything to do with history just automatically draws me.
All right. Any nerves when it came to theater? As Zion mentioned, it's a lot different from if you are maybe doing a production. You kind of can go back at it and do something else. But if you're doing theater, usually it's in front of a live audience. So that's a little different.
Well, I mean, I said this is going to be so easy, but I mean, it's really not. I mean, nerves, in the beginning I said, this is so easy, but the nerves hit me a couple days ago. It's not easy, it's very difficult. So yeah, it's hard, it's very hard.
Talk to me about your life, Tiffany Amber, as an actor here in Barbados and some of the projects you've been able to work on.
Yeah, So I started acting from the time I was young, following in my family's footsteps, and it's really nice to start. Amanda was one of my teachers at BCC, so it's really nice in a full circle moment to have studied at BCC, then to have gone overseas to further my studies in stage and film, and then to come back here and now be a part of such an amazing play by such an amazing playwright and director.
Did you think that you were going to be able to walk over saying, following in my family's footsteps? Let's double back.
Yes. Yeah, my dad, Edward Williams, my uncle, Antoine Williams, who is better known as Brother Daddy. Yeah, it's just a really good thing, I think, to have family that support the arts and that are within the arts too as well. My sister, Nicolette Williams, who is a dancer and movement therapist as well. It's just a nice moment to see everybody come together and, you know, create, because with us, we are entertainment by ourselves.
Well,
So
I'm thinking, because I'm wondering what family occasions must be like.
Oh yeah. We have something called the Independence Experience, where we sing calypso as a family, and it's like a loosely based competition, very fun. So it's really nice to be a part of a family.
Independence Experience as a loosely based competition at a family function.
Yes.
I love it. Any open invitations?
Definitely.
All right. And speaking of family, I know for you, Zion, your sister is an actress as well, and it really is a family effort. So daddy's involved, mommy is involved. Does that make a difference in terms of how you're able to get things done and work toward being on stage or on screen?
No, I think so.
Okay, so it's all positive. All right, good stuff. For you, Mr. Nome, talk to me about how you are kind of balancing in the midst of all of the, you know, the nervousness that you're now feeling, balancing, preparing to get out there on stage and be a part of this presentation.
Well, it's just a matter of getting it done, you know? I mean, the play in itself is just, it's a story, and it's a beautiful story. It's a historical drama, and it's just about getting it done, really.
What strikes you most about the play and how it's presented?
The history of it, really. You know, when I read the actual play, what Amanda did, Lisa, what she did is she took history in itself and she just put it in a play. And that's the beauty of it. And it's important, I think, that today we just keep that in today's time. You know, that was a great thing that she did.
All right, so you guys open at the Cynthia Wilson Lecture Theatre over at UWI Cafel campus on March 28th and then 30th, and we're going to share more as we go on. So, you know, what have rehearsals been like leading up to grand opening?
Rehearsals have been great. In the beginning, you know, just trying to get the lines together, everybody trying to, you know, get it together. I mean, we still keeping it together, but now that we're in Tech Week, it's just about creating that togetherness among the cast. It's really nice. Yesterday we had rehearsal, last night we had rehearsal, and it's just really nice to, we weren't in the space because at the time the space was being, you know, rigged up and all the theater magic was happening, but we were outside, and it was just really nice to be outside with everybody and create that togetherness, that union amongst the actors.
Zion, tell me what's your favorite thing to do as a part of the play? What do you have to do? Tell me quickly in words.
That's an interesting question. My favorite thing about the play, well, mostly it's back in the history. That's my favorite thing. How everything going to play, because history is very interesting to learn. I love history.
All right, good stuff. So it sounds like Zion is having a fantastic time. So talk to me some more about the cast, who are some of the other people who are part of it. I know that Talal, you've wanted to hold on to this poster from before, so maybe you can grab it.
We have great actors in it. I mean, we have Sophia Lee, we have Tiffany Amber
Tiffany,
Williams.
you can jump in and help him too.
We've got Christian Kendall.
We've got Simon Ali, we've got Kenneth Jack Lewis, these wonderful persons, Zion. We have Trinity as well, we have Talal, and we have Yeah, that's it.
And more.
That's the cast. And more. That's
Yeah.
it. And then an
Okay.
amazing creative team.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Written and directed by Amanda Cumberbatch, stage manager Renald
Yes.
Headley, art direction Layla Fisher. These are all some very popular names from this world.
Yeah.
Yes. Talal, you wanted to say something
No,
else?
I think everyone should come and see this play. You know, it's
Yeah.
a great play. It's got great historical concepts in it, features in it, and everyone should really come see this play.
All right. Very interesting. Go ahead, Zion.
I'll say something else about theater. Theater is very different from
Absolutely.
acting. It's different from camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, you on camera you could like do 100 takes, but theater you only got one shot, one bullet in the gun,
That's right.
and you got to make everything perfect.
Somebody needs to tell these people I'm working with that.
That's right.
I'm sitting here and I can't do how many takes?
100.
100. I'm entitled to do 100 takes, people.
The box office is at UE. You can get your tickets at UE. The nights are March the 28th, Thursday, and Saturday, March 30th.
Yes.
And the box office is UE. Yeah.
All right, so Talal
Bookstore.
is staying on script.
That's right.
That's important. So funded by the Division of Culture, Prime Minister's Office, through the Office of the Special Envoy for Reparations and Economic Enfranchisement, and supported by the Faculty of Culture, Creative and Performing Arts, Theatre, and the Faculty of Humanities and Education, History at UE Cave Hill. So again, it's good to have you in company, Tiffany Amber Williams, Zion Rose, Trinity Rose, to see you on stage as a part of the cast for this Amanda Cumberbatch written and directed piece. Is going to be very, very interesting. So I certainly look forward to seeing it. Tickets are $20 for adults and $10 for children. Box offices, as Talal told us, the University Bookshop, and they're available already, you know, so make sure you grab your tickets. They're going to be limited.
Yeah.
The space is, you know, is not as big as you would want it to be.
For now.
So make sure you get your tickets. Talal says for now he plans to add on a wing. Yeah. It's good to have all of you with us.
Thank you.
Great to see you again, Zion.
Yeah.
Okay, and I look forward to seeing you guys on stage on opening night.
Yes, please. Definitely.
Wonderful. Make sure you come on out and be a part of it. It promises to be very, very interesting presentation. Cry Water, Then Blood, an historical drama presented in this open week at the campus. So something for us to do. All right, we're going to take a break here and come back on Morning Barbados. Do stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Morning Barbados is on the move, and we're coming to you every weekday morning from right here at the showroom in Wildey. Now, together, we're giving you an opportunity to win. All you have to do is submit a photo of that room that you want to see changed in a fantastic way. And the interior design curator here at Standard and all of their experts are going to get together and select the room that needs the most work. It just might be yours. All you have to do is submit your photo to info@standard.bb, and you could be here with us saying, "Morning Barbados, look at my beautiful space."
Morning to you.
Tune in to CBC Newsnight for the NISS Business Report, a comprehensive look at the local, regional, and international business world every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday during CBC Newsnight. Brought to you by the National Insurance and Social Security Service. More than a contribution, it's your lifeline.
Every day at 7 p.m., we bring you a comprehensive news package because keeping you informed is our #1 priority. Whether it's local, regional, or international stories, our commitment is to you and keeping you reliably informed. Join us every day at 7 p.m. for CBC Newsnight.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb. From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you indeed. Welcome back to Morning Barbados, the Tuesday presentation. And of course, this week is Holy Week as well. So don't forget all that's happening as you head out. And you want to buy your fish in the early, all right? So my friend Sharon at the Bridgetown Fisheries Complex, she's already sent me a long list of what's available and the price list next to it. So get your fish in the early because, you know, this time of year is customary for us to have fish and not necessarily meat as we get for our Monday, Thursday, and then, of course, Good Friday and Easter over the long weekend. So one of the segments that we absolutely love to get into because there's so many areas to cover, is very interesting discussion, is Let's Talk HR Barbados. And today we're taking a look at behavior change and kind of underpinning it with workplace bullying or bullying in the workplace. So let's welcome back Nicholas Roberts, who's president of HERMAB. And today we're joined by Cecilia Neblett-Brown, who's director of behavior change. So good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good to have both of you with us. Again, to the show. So wonderful to have you with us. Nicholas, how can organizations foster a culture of psychological safety so that they prevent and maybe address workplace bullying effectively?
Morning again. I think it starts from your hiring practices, the way that the type of people that you bring into your organization are going to impact the type of culture that you have within your organization. So talk about leadership, and you know, leadership starts at the top, but actually no, leadership starts from the person that is, you know, helping to keep your buildings clean to the person that is running the department. Those are the type of organization that people come into. And I think far too often people undermine the type of people they're bringing into the workforce. People often, when they sit in an interview, you know, they put on their best face and sometimes a facade. And then when they come into an organization, they get caught up in the minutiae or what is going on within the organization, and things go to pup, for lack of a better word. So I think that the type of people that you are bringing into your workplace initially is very important, and then once those people come into the workplace, if it is that you realize that it is not a good environment, or if it is a good environment, how are you fostering culture that you want within that organization to ensure that productivity ensues?
A lot of people, when they're talking about behavior change and new people coming in, what really stands out in conversation is organizational culture. And when we talk about organizational culture, then it's important to talk about behavior change. If you want to change certain behaviors that are kind of inculcated in organizations where people almost believe this is the right way to do things because I've been doing it this way for 20 years. And so that's where the conversation on behavior change comes in. And this is your specialty, wearing this hat today, Cecilia. How do you start the process of changing people if they acknowledge being to just that, the perspective, and those who are victims of the bullying?
That to change, understand, and I think that bullying, basically comments, negative comments, behaviors and gestures sometimes, I don't think there's things that are things that happen every day in the workspace. things that I understand. We have legislation and we have acts that govern and guide the practices of in the environment. Behavior change and my partners, I think that the relationship between behavior change and employment, they're very close. Behavior change underpins everything in life. And I think that even at the employment level where you are looking and hiring, I think that the behavior change specialist should be there as well. As Nicholas said before, sometimes they put on a facade, and we're here to make sure that we get the best out of the interview. Where that would come is that I think even in our investigation process, the behavior change is there as well. If you have a challenge with bullying and you're looking at investigating, the behavior change specialist can be an asset to an organization when investigating such matters. And I use the process for behavior change in helping organizations to better understand where they're going in the investigation stages. So a person, for example, we have, let's say, a pre-contemplation stage, who doesn't care, I am not changing my behavior, so what next? We have to look at the intervention for that person's personality and the behavior. So as you go down the spectrum, a person at the contemplation stage, yes, I know that I do something wrong, so what? So we can work with that person admitted that they did something wrong. So we're looking at using the behavior change model to work levels of behavior change in.
That's so interesting, working with individuals, because I behavior change as experts coming in to be able to usher, to really guide employees through maybe major changes in the business. But this is looking at it from another perspective. So before we continue talking about the role that behavior change can play in helping us get to where we want to be in terms of how we engage with each other within the workplace, I think it's important to dissect the anatomy of bullying in the workplace. What does it look like? Is it relative? Because a lot of people will argue bullying generally is relative. I disagree. Mm-hmm. But, so what is it? What does it look like? What does it sound like in the workplace environment?
Mm-hmm. So bullying can take many different forms. It can be verbal, it can be non-verbal. Once a person feels uncomfortable, that is bullying. It may not be bullying to you, but it is bullying. And I always say people's emotions matter, because sometimes you may say, oh, you're just overreacting in the situation. So say, for instance, in normal Bajan parlance, we like to tell somebody, oh, you get fat. That is not something to be telling someone. Something as simple as that is bullying. Someone coming into a workspace and, they may be a younger person and they may be trying to do things differently. And then someone saying to them, oh, you're trying to upset the workplace, who you think you is. Like those type of things create a hostile working environment and make people feel as if, why am I in this workspace? And for any time someone comes into an organization and they feel as if they're being victimized, as if they're being ostracized, then that is harassment, and harassment by extension can turn into workplace bullying. So in a nutshell, workplace bullying is creating a hostile working environment for a person, and it can take many different facets or forms that make it uncomfortable for people to function within the workspace.
So this is where the behavior change specialist would come in as a measure to try to maybe mitigate some further challenges down the road. So what are some of the strategies that you can employ then as an employer to be able to kind of stand in the middle of any harassment that could be deemed bullying, etc.?
First, I think that we should really understand what bullying is, and that's through education. For example, what we're doing here today. I think the second step is investigating. We need to have strong investigative techniques in order to understand, because just now you alluded to the fact that what is bullying? Bullying could be deliberately paying me late, give me my wages late. You paid everybody else, but when it comes to my wages, you said, hey, the accountant is busy, we'll get back to you. Things like walking the corridor, not shunning a person. I'm a bully, so I'm going to walk straight. You must always veer off. Things like inviting persons to a function and not inviting one person. Or sometimes you would hear things like, oh, we're not having a meeting, we're having a conversation, so you're not invited. These are things that can happen at any time. So we have to make sure we're looking at our behavior change strategies that we specifically focus on the intended negative behavior so that we can try to change it, working with the individual to change these negative behaviors. And it is a process. That is why sometimes we call the counselor and we call the psychologist, but we need to have interventions that change the behaviors, and this can be over a period of time. So education, although it's important, we need to identify where the behavior is. We need to check about the history of the environment. Is there a history? There a history of negative behavior here? We're looking at culture. We're looking at gender and how we focus on behavior change challenges and gender. Because if you're working in a male-dominated area, for example, the police force or the Barbados Defense Force, we can't take those strategies to this QEH. So we have to recognize that they're all different variables that can come into play when we're looking at strategically planning and implementing strategies to assist or reduce the levels of behavior, negative behavior in any one society.
With HR, every HR department won't have a behavior change specialist or someone who's well-versed or even trained in that area. So from your perspective as HR professionals, how do you kind of get around this level of behavior in the workplace? And I think it's important to look at the flip side too. There are a lot of people who love to play victim. And whatever is said, even if it is done in accordance with company regulations and rules, it's always a challenge. We know of those people.
Yeah, you're correct. So incidentally enough, I can remember my very, very first role as a manager. I came into an organization and it was a very toxic environment, and I tried to share things, and the staff said that I was being a negative person within the workspace. And it was that I came into an organization, I realized things weren't functioning, and I said things weren't functioning, and this is how we should do things better. From my perspective, maybe I should have, I think Celia mentioned earlier, doing an analysis of the area or the work area that I think I could implement my strategies to see if it was applicable. But you are correct. Some people do play the victim, and even though you may be trying to make things better, people may think that you're harassing them or bullying them. But to answer the next part of your question, I think having proper policies and procedures within the working environment to guide both managers and staff to say this is what is expected from you, and if it is that you do feel as if you're bullied, these are the routes that you go. We have legislation in place, the prevention of anti-discrimination in place that impacts how it is that you deal with those type of instances. And like I said, you put policies and procedures within the workplace to stop or prevent or to mitigate when those instances are reported as occurring.
Now, I know it can be challenging when you have this occurring among staff members or between staff members or what have you. But where a manager is involved, I think then that's kind of a different ball game, if we can call it that. So what then are some of these strategies that you would have to employ in that regard that would be different from dealing with the average employee or looking at it from a bottom-up approach as opposed to recognizing, okay, hey, these might be some indiscretions by a top-level manager or what have you, because that would be different in terms of how the business would have to deal with it.
Yes. Well, sometimes these things are pushed aside when it's at the managerial level, and that's so unfortunate. But I think that HR specialists can outsource support. They have the power to outsource support. For example, in the civil service, the general orders, you can go to the tribunal, you call the Ministry of Labor, you can call any agency, you can call me, the behavior change specialist, to see how best we can mitigate, because sometimes persons do not always want to hear, as Nicholas said just now, from some person internal. So if an external factor comes, then they're willing to accept some criticism or some information from an external voice. And what I want to say about that is so very unfortunate that persons at the managerial level also bully, because they're different managing styles. That is why I agree with Nicholas Jackson when it comes to hiring. These things can be looked at when we are hiring. Sometimes managers go from one area to the next with the same behavior. So you may retire from here, or you may quit your job, you may be redundant, and you've gone to another area with the same behavior. So sometimes even for change management styles, if you're going from supervisor to manager, sometimes this behavior change model can still play an important part in not taking these negative behaviors and patterns with you, because we are looking at the avoidance stage, and we're looking at things, for example, we call it the psychological first aid. If you see there's critical things happening in the workspace, there are things that need to be done within a week, within 2 weeks, depending on the severity of the crisis that is happening in the organization. Some things take 2 weeks for a grievance procedure, but some things need now. Some things just need now, because as you say, for the psychological safety, you need to feel safe. And although people don't really see the challenges that you can have from bullying, you can go into the home. Let's say you're bullied here today, your daughter will be impacted. Let's say I'm bullying, my mom will be impacted. So these are all things that we need to recognize can play a major part in the fabric of our society.
Absolutely. In order for behavior change to really work, to take hold, there must be buy-in at all levels.
At all levels.
So how then do you get to the place where you get people to buy into maybe you telling them this is not the correct way to do it, this is how it's done, after they've been in a work environment for 15 or 20 years, sometimes more.
But tapping back to before you answer that one, having a proper grievance procedure in place is also very, very important to deal with bullying, based on what Cecilia was just saying. But in terms of change management, we always talk about from what is in it for me. So at the base level, any human level, you need to understand what it is that people want within the workspace, because what it is Tisha may want within the work environment may not be what I want. Especially when I'm managing a team, I need to understand that I may be managing diverse people, and when you understand what it is people want, so money may motivate one person, whereas progression within the workplace may motivate another person. Once you understand what people want and what drives them, then you can get the buy-in. You can then start to understand what strategies you can put in place to get that change going. Because if it is someone doesn't see the purpose or the benefit for them, they're not going to buy into change. No matter how much you motivate them, try to give them tidbits about how much a change will impact them positively, they won't buy into it. So at the base level, you need to show people what is in it for them.
Yeah, I just say treat people like people, man.
And that.
Yes. Treat people like people. Treat people like you would want to be treated. Go back to the golden rule. It's important. Cecilia Neblett-Barthwaite, always great to see you. And wonderful to have you wearing this hat and this outfit today. Beautiful to have you sharing about your business behavior change as director of that business. And Nicholas Roberts is the president with the most. He's head of the Human Resources Management Association, but he also has a great team, a great executive behind him as well. So consider behavior change as a means of trying to get past challenges with bullying within the workplace. We double back to the University of the West Indies. We're heading up the hill when we come back.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Every night, we bring you a complete look at the weather forecast, because keeping you safe and informed is our top priority. The CBC Weather Report, brought to you by Ace H&B Hardware, the helpful hardware.
Morning Barbados is on the move, and we're coming to you every weekday morning from right here at the Standard Showroom in Wildey. Now, together, we're giving you an opportunity to win. All you have to do is submit a photo of that room that you want to see changed in a fantastic way. And the interior design curator here at Standard and all of their experts are going to get together and select the room that needs the most work. It just might be yours. All you have to do is submit your photo to info@standard.bb, and you could be here with us saying, "Morning Barbados, look at my beautiful space."
Morning to you.
Tune into CBC Newsnight for the NISS Business Report, a comprehensive look at the local, regional, and international business world every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday during CBC Newsnight. brought to you by the National Insurance and Social Security Service. More than a contribution, it's your lifeline.
Every day at 7 p.m., we bring you a comprehensive news package because keeping you informed is our number one priority. Whether it's local, regional, or international stories, our commitment is to you and keeping you reliably informed. Join us every day at 7 p.m. for CBC Newsnight.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Welcome back on this Tuesday, March 26th. Wonderful to have you with us. I don't know if you were staring at the moon last night like me. Somehow I am drawn to the moon. Somebody will probably call me today telling me some story about astrology. Yes, I know. However, last night it looked as though there was some type of blue reflection on it. Did you see that?
Yes,
I saw that.
did.
Okay, so this is Gavin Bavell, and he is assistant lecturer in economics and coordinator of the Masters in Logistics and Supply Chain Management. I promise you, it's more interesting than it sounds, but he's here with us now. So did you see that blue cast?
Yeah, I did. I was actually having a look at it with my daughter last night, and she was just amazed at how bright it was. But usually it has a sort of a yellow hue to
yes.
it. But last night it was blue.
Yes. Now, my little one told me it had something to do with the ice caps and the reflection, all that kind of stuff. I just knew that it looked like, a shadow around the moon. She said it's an optical illusion because of the ice cap. So, interesting stuff. I was thinking, are my eyes blurry? Or is that actually happening? But always beautiful to see that stuff. So maybe we can juxtapose the whole idea of how you look at the moon and it looking interesting as we compare how people feel about the field of economics.
Well, that's a very good good segue into it, because sometimes you're looking at the same thing every time, and something happens and it changes the light in which you see it. And economics is that thing. We interact with economics every day. It's really that field of study that looks at how the little resources that we have, and let's be fair, the resources seem to be getting smaller and smaller. Economics deals with that scarcity and the implication that that scarcity has on how we utilize resources at the individual level, at the business level, and at the societal level. And that's, in a nutshell, what economics is. How do we, as a nation, how do we, as a business, how do we, as individuals, manage the resources that we have to live optimally, to be able to achieve our goals, to be able to provide for ourselves now, while at the same time being able to provide for the little ones in the future. So economics is not this far off, removed, abstract concept. We're engaging with economics every single day as we make decisions, as we go about planning our budgets, as we go about shopping in the groceries, as we as business people decide how we're going to allocate our resources, how are we going to engage with our customers, and as society, how are we making decisions to ensure that our citizens are best taken care of today while ensuring that there's a sustainable way forward for them.
On a personal level, I feel as though we wait too late to share about these things with our children. So all of a sudden, we don't think that we can teach economics at the primary level. I remember one of my nephews, Jaden, he was maybe, I want to say 8 or 9 years old. And he was on a visit to Barbados. And, I'm entertaining him in talk. And I said, so what are you studying at school? And he says, economics. And I'm thinking, really? Well, the first time I ever even heard about economics was when I got to university. So I said, so what's economics, Jaden? And he said, well, the study of goods and services and how people engage with it. I mean, very simple. And he knew it right away. And the way you sat here and put it, Gavin, it sounds simple enough in terms of how we do it. But I think the placeholder that economics really holds in society is what kind of keeps people back and has that mind block, pretty much the same as math or stats. In terms of how people think. And this could be something that deters people from maybe going into certain areas of study because they may be a little apprehensive about how they can perform. How can we go about changing the way people look at things like economics?
Well, I think the university, our faculty and the department in particular, we're working towards sort of demystifying this whole scary concept of economics. And one of the initiatives that we're doing is really going into the schools to make sure that students are aware of not only what economics is, but also the opportunities that lie within the field. Yes, economics does have a quantitative element to it that requires a bit of maths and a bit of stats. And that's sometimes all the person see. But one of the things that economics instills in our students is a level of critical thinking that is required to solve any problem. And I believe that to me, is one of the areas where we have a huge opportunity. We abound with problems. There's no shortage of challenges and opportunities for re-optimization, whether it's at the personal level or at a business level or a societal level. And being equipped with a to look at a problem, critically analyze it, maybe quantify it, and provide an optimal solution is something that any business, any individual will be able to use to improve their situation. And being able to take that message across to younger students who oftentimes, as we are celebrating our open week, we have opportunities and we're engaging with private sector, we're engaging with the public sector, and we're showcasing opportunities within various fields of study. And what we're trying to highlight is the opportunities that exist within our particular department. What I like about economics is that it is transferable across almost any discipline, because you always have a problem to solve. And whenever there are problems to solve, you require a decision to be made. And when a decision has to be made, some form of analysis is needed. And we're in supporting this culture of data-driven decision-making, and economics forms the bedrock of that critical thinking to be able to inform decision makers of all of the implications of their decisions. So yes, it may sound daunting, but economics opens so many doors in terms of the opportunities that persons are able to access.
And I've been saying for quite some time, and I agree with everything that you said. I've been saying for quite some time that, I'm happy to see that we're able now in the region, and certainly through UE, to be able, not only CAFL campus, but UE across the region, to be able to see more specializations. So to see you here as coordinator of a master's in logistics and supply chain management is something that I don't feel that I would have seen 20 years ago when I first went into the University of the West Indies. For people to be able to specialize in this way, I think will add to dispelling some of the myths about maybe an economics degree, where you can think about how will I apply this outside of the teaching profession to an everyday job.
Exactly. And I think a lot of persons would have in the past looked at economics as, okay, I'm going to go into economics and then I'm going to stay in academia. Or I'm going to work for the central bank or the government, Ministry of Finance. It's the fact that you would have highlighted my program, which is Logistics and Supply Chain Management, and the relevance of that program in today's environment globally, as well as regionally, has been catapulted into the stratosphere in terms of the strategic nature of the need for effective, efficient logistics and supply chain management. We're faced with ever-increasing cost of imported products. Sometimes I go into supermarkets, I'm a little scared because maybe my wife would have gone last week and I missed last week, and I'm not sure what the prices are going to be this week. And those are things that are impacted or influenced by our global supply chains and how we consume, how we access the products we consume, and how those products are brought into the country. When we look globally, we have challenges that are impacting global supply chains, disruptions
across the board.
Across the board.
I mean, Red Sea, Suez Canal, Panama Canal, almost all at once. You know, you're seeing these challenges with the global supply chains.
One of the things I mentioned to my students is, if you take a look at the possibilities for disruptions and change exist ubiquitously across the globe. Just one factor. If you look at the number of potential political changes in terms of elections across the region, across the globe, you're talking about in excess of 40 elections just this year. And in countries that are significant to us in terms of our supply base. So those are things that you always have to monitor. Climate change is another thing that's impacting us. It's impacting us in the region in a way that is different than it's impacting our suppliers in Asia. We in the region have droughts. They have an excess. They have typhoons. And so we have to be able to manage our supply chains, being cognizant of all of the factors that are impacting our suppliers and their suppliers. And these are the things that are taught within the program. Another way that we're utilizing the network of the program is actually working with the private sector, working with government bodies. Some of our faculty members actually just returned from London, where they would have taken part in an IMO exercise geared at, and they supported our regional institutions in crafting their response to some of the updated regulations that IMO being the International Maritime Organization that governs the shipping industry. So we're in this region going to be impacted by policies that are being made far away. And what we want at the university to do is to be able to support our regional organizations as they sort of collate and come together to get a greater voice at these policy-making institutions. So we'll be able to help them with their research and facilitate their response.
All right, so we're completely convinced. We're completely convinced in terms of how economics and the programs that are offered kind of, you know, run the gamut when we talk about areas that you can go into and how relatable it really is. So thanks for coming in to dispel a few of these myths. Remember, Gavin is Assistant Lecturer in Economics and Coordinator of the Masters in Logistics and Supply Chain Management at UWI Cave Hill. But when we think of the Faculty of Social Sciences, there are so many other areas that you really can move into. Of course, there's the Department of Economics, but broadly, they're under the faculty as well. So, you know, check it out. Of course, all you have to do is go online to see what's available, some of these amazing specializations. All right, so again, thanks for sharing with us. Great discussion.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, time for another break here on Morning Barbados. Please stick around. We're still celebrating with the Combermere crew. I saw the celebrations in Waterford online. Ooh, so congrats, the calls are still coming in. But next, a little later than you're accustomed to, but conversations on CARICOM. That's all next.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb. From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
Every night, we bring you a complete look at the weather forecast because keeping you safe and informed is our top priority. The CBC Weather Report, brought to you by Ace H&B Hardware, the helpful hardware.
Morning Barbados is on the move, and we're coming to you every weekday morning from right here at the Standard Showroom in Wildey. Now, together, we're giving you an opportunity to win. All you have to do is submit a photo of that room that you want to see changed in a fantastic way. And the interior design curator here at Standard and all of their experts are going to get together and select the room that needs the most work. It just might be yours. All you have to do is submit your photo to info@standard.bb, and you could be here with us saying, "Morning Barbados, look at my beautiful space."
Morning to you.
Tune in to CBC Newsnight for the NISS Business Report, a comprehensive look at the local, regional, and international business world every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday during CBC Newsnight. Brought to you by the National Insurance and Social Security Service. More than a contribution, it's your lifeline.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
So that was the first of 3 pieces performed by the KFIL Dance Ensemble as they jet off to Jamaica to showcase all that they have to offer. Help me welcome David Comichon, who of course is Barbados ambassador to CARICOM, I like to say, and beyond. And joining us today, we have Aisha Comichon, who's a tutor and choreographer at UE KFIL. And we're also joined by Gianna Fagan, who is a member of the dance ensemble. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
I have to say more of a welcome to you, ladies. Because more or less a part of the show now. I mean, he every week as part of what so the things, especially all that's on the region. It's important to double back when we look at across the region,
accompanied for the Jamaica Dance Umbrella Festival, Jamaica's premier dance festival. I was doing celebration is central to us developing the single one space not for fact and for artists that could see the entire Caribbean community as their space to travel to perform. And so I really feel very proud about the UWI KFL Campus Dance Ensemble because they have taken up this mission. Last year they were in Trinidad at the Cocoa Festival, this year in Jamaica, and this is really CARICOM in action.
All right, excellent. I love that CARICOM in action. I should talk to me about what it means to kind of freely move and work and share all that you do, not only here, but across the region.
For me personally, it was a full circle moment. For one, I didn't just study in Barbados, but I studied in Jamaica. It was a full circle moment for me to take my students with me, for them to be exposed to the talent level in Jamaica, not just the dancers, the choreographers, but also the culture. It's one thing to read about it, it's one thing for me to teach them about it, it's another thing for them to be able to immerse themselves in it, to have that first-hand experience. I know that that was a trip that they're going to take with them from now on beyond and take into beyond.
Yeah, and no better face to tell us about it than you, Gianna. So what was that experience like for you to be able to not only travel with your teacher or with one of your teachers, but to be able to share in that way?
That experience for me overall was very exhilarating because I actually was born there, but I grew up here, so it was good to be back home. But that trip with specifically my teacher and my other members of the ensemble, I wouldn't have it any other way with any other persons because they're my family to me. So with them and that experience, it was just so fun and eye-opening, especially because some of us have read about these dancers in Jamaica, especially from the company Le Caco by Dr. Lantonette Steins, and to just see them on stage in real life, it's just like an experience that you just wouldn't forget. It's just an image that you're just going to engrave in your mind. It actually motivates us to push further in our career. We want to learn new things, learn new cultures, just experiment with what we're given in the Caribbean, because we have this flavor as well, not only in Barbados, but in so many other countries. So to just see it and learn it and move our bodies in those specific nuances that each country has, even if we put our own Barbados into what we learn a bit of land tech. So to put our own spin on it, maybe we don't know. It's just so fun. It's just so great to just experiment with so many different things. Dance is so open.
Yeah, from where I sit, I always see the various little nuances that you mentioned, the little flavor from each island kind of coming into play that's a little different. Before we go back to the ambassador, for you, Aisha, what's it like to be able to decide what you're going with? Because I would imagine this is major as well. 3 pieces, but here I am looking at this. Very heavy drums featured in it, but somehow it seems like a trip to the blues and a bit of, some contemporary music and so on as well.
I wouldn't say it was very difficult in that I think with KFO what we're doing, we're establishing our voice, one as a faculty, but two, as an ensemble, we're establishing how we want Barbados to receive us, how we want the region to receive us. So in particular, the works that were selected, we were inspired by work by, for example, Barbadian literary icon Kamal Brathwaite. So one of the pieces actually takes inspiration from his poem, Dies Irae. Then we have another another piece that's performed to Martin Carter's I Come From the Nigger Yard, Guyanese poet. Then we have One Flies All Soar, which takes its inspiration from Yui's maxim, one blackbird flies, we all soar. So these were three very distinct works, but to me, critical to not just the Caribbean artscape, but also to what UWI in and of itself represents as a regional institution. So we're not only representing Barbados when we step out there, but we are representing the regional institution that UWI is, and we're drawing inspiration from Guyana, Jamaica, Trinidad, Barbados, and beyond. So it was easy to make that decision.
Good stuff. Certainly when you share how you're incorporating all of these different elements from across the region, it makes it that much easier to understand how you can make your selections. And then, of course, the tie-in, how all of this is helping, like you said, to foster regional integration and the easy movement of people across the region. But the arts have always played a role across disciplines. It's always been central in us kind of making those linkages.
No, the arts are critical. I mean, what is life without the arts? And the arts entertain us, but they also go beyond entertainment to help a society to look at issues and problems and to work through them and to provide solutions and to inspire a society, to evolve to higher levels. So the arts are critical to all that we are. That first piece that we heard, that's the one flies all soar. That is like the theme of the Cave Hill campus. And you're quite right when you said you heard the drums, and because I think what they were trying to do with that piece is to express the spirit of the University of the West Indies. This is who we are. And what I love about the dance ensemble is that they are consciously trying to, as Aisha said, to develop their own voice. And so the pieces that they develop come out of our culture. So they drawing inspiration from the Kamaus and the Martin Carters. And I must tell you that Jamaica probably has the most developed dance culture in CARICOM. And they went to Jamaica's premier dance festival and held their own. In fact, I would say they performed on 3 nights of the festival, and on every night, I would say their performance was in the top, maybe the top 3, maybe the top 3 on each night. So it says a lot for what we are doing here at the Cave Hill campus and the standard that they have already attained. And I think that they're really poised to go anywhere,
Wonderful. Hard taskmaster, Gianna. So making that almost top 3 every night of the performances must mean a great deal to you.
Yes, definitely, because to even just be on stage with all of these Jamaican dancers that we've heard about, we've watched, and we're like, oh wow, that's so good. We were so nervous. We were like, we're gonna dance with them. We're gonna dance right beside them. So to just feel that and hear that praise, especially from other people as well, that's such a big accomplishment for all of us.
All right, so Gianna is going to leave us, and when we come back, Kemal Marshall, another dancer, another part of the ensemble, he's going to be here with us on Mornin Barbados, so stay tuned.
And when the sun go down, I'll be so glad when the sun go down. When the sun go down, I ain't all that's leaving, but I wanna lie down. I wanna lie down. I ain't all that's sleeping, but I wanna lie down. I wanna lie down. I wanna lie down, baby. I wanna lie down. I ain't all that's leaving, but I wanna lie down.
I come from the nigger yard of yesterday, leaping from the oppressor's hate, scorn of myself, I come to the world with scars upon my soul, wounds on my body, fury in my hands. I turn to the histories of men and the lives of the peoples. I examine the shower of sparks, the wealth of the dreams. I am pleased with the glories and sad with the sorrows, rich with the riches, poor with the loss. From the nigger yard of yesterday, I come with my burden. To the world of tomorrow, I turn with my strength.
Familiar voice. I had a little urging there, of course. Aisha was giving me some subtle hints. Does the voice sound familiar? Yeah, so, you had opportunity to perform as well. You were part of the performance, and maybe that's what, guided your top 3. I'm kidding. But it's wonderful that we're able to engage in this way. I mean, bringing history off the pages, and we talked about this earlier, and be able to express it in this way must mean a great deal.
Yes, and we must do ourselves. We cannot be just some pale copy of, somebody else. Whatever we do, we must have the stamp of our own culture, our history, our heritage, our identity. And when we do that, that is when we're going to impress the world, because we will be projecting something that is unique. So Aisha had approached me about a year ago. I think it was during History Month. They were asked to do a piece to a Caribbean poem. She selected I Come From the Nigger Yard and asked me to do the recitation. So that piece had its genesis all last year during History Month. And yes, and I think that piece really contributed a lot to the festival in Jamaica, because...
You read it?
Well, not just that I read it, but you were presenting a classic Caribbean poem. I Come From the Nigger Yard. That's one of the iconic poems of the Caribbean.
I'm being silly, but absolutely. I totally agree. Now we're joined by Kamal Marshall. Again, no stranger to Mornin Barbados. He's been on before as one of our exceptional youth. So talk to us about this experience, 3 days of dance, doing what you love, really.
Wow. It was truly an amazing experience, not just because we're dancing, but we were dancing as a collective, dancing with our brothers and sisters, and being able to explore Jamaica, not only, I have to try to say, not only what Jamaica is like as a city or as a country, but what it's like culturally. So we got to explore different things. I feel as though we're rambling and all over the place. We got to explore different things, and we got to experience what it was like to be a Jamaican student when we went to Edna Manley, and we got to perform on the stage and share the stage with the other company dancers, as Gianna said. So it was truly exciting,
and
truly
nerve-wracking. You had a great time. Did it? You absolutely were not rambling. But Aisha, why this particular piece? I know we talked briefly about kind of spreading it across the region, but talk to me about the process of bringing it together and then saying, I want this piece of poetry to be, a part of this.
Well, for one, that's a poem that my father introduced us to as children. I know that people be kind of surprised, but the poem I Come From the Nigger Yard really carries us through the heroic black struggle. It starts at the transatlantic slave trade per se, the pre-emancipation days. We come through emancipation, we reach independence, and it ends with that hope for the future and where we're going to go as a race and as a people. So that poem stuck with me from since I was in primary school. And so when I was tasked with creating a piece on the dance ensemble, I said, I want to interpret this. And when we first performed it, it was actually World Poetry Day. We performed it at EBCCI. We were able to hold the audience's attention for 10 minutes. Nothing. You could hear a pin drop. And when the dancers finished with an exhale. You know, they've been through this struggle through the years, and they finished with this exhale. The audience just went, wow. And they, you know, erupted into applause. So when we were asked what were we taking to Jamaica, I felt like this was a very important piece to take. One, yes, is the premier dance festival in Jamaica. You get all the amazing companies, but you also get a lot of abstract work. This was kind of, you know, it was direct in your face, not just in terms of movement and interpretation, but in terms of the words and the interpretation of the dancers and how they expressed the piece. And I felt as if we brought that, not only would we walk away kind of cemented in the minds of the audience, but the message in and of itself, I don't think the audience could leave without taking that message with them. And I think that was important for us to do, to not just cement ourselves in their minds, but also to cement the message of the piece and the poem.
Wonderful stuff. It's been great to share all that you've been able to do. We shared the first two, and we're going to take you out with checking out the final piece. Thanks for sharing, so that we remember all that we can do and must do as a region to continue the process of where we all started years ago and where we seem to be making incredible strides. So thank you, Ambassador.
My pleasure, and yes, and I really enjoy, we usually do the hard political talk, but it's so good to be able to come and talk dance and arts and culture.
Not talk, comma, dance, talk, dance, comma. So thank you so much for coming in. Aisha Comishong, Kemal Marshall, Gianna Fagan, all a part of the dance ensemble, believe it or not. The ambassador also was a part. He played a role too, so congratulations to you. All right, time for another break here on Morning Barbados, but stay with us. We have lots more coming up.
Every day at 7 p.m., we bring you a comprehensive news package because keeping you informed is our #1 priority. Whether it's local, regional, or international stories, our commitment is to you and keeping you reliably informed. Join us every day at 7 p.m. for CBC Newsnight.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC's sales department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
I thought I knew the Lord until He saved me. He saved me from my sins and set me free. He took me up from bondage and set my spirit free. I'm so glad the Lord, He came and saved me. Oh, He saved me. Oh, He saved me. The Lord saved me. Oh, He saved me.
And that is, of course, Elton Prescott. He joins us now, and Elton is a gospel singer. That's something new, that particular one, written as he overcame some struggle, his struggle with depression. So it's good to have you this morning, and as I was telling you before we came back from break, it's good to have you sharing in this way because there are not a lot of people who are willing to share stories like this. So good morning to you. And congratulations on the song.
Thank you.
Talk to me about how it came about.
Yes. Firstly, I just want to make some acknowledgements to my spiritual father, Dr. Janelle Brown, and the team from Prophetic Movement Ministries. Also, Cheyenne Bailey, who was being a good support for me for the past 3 years. And actually, my daughter, Rishma Prescott. Basically, the song was written, after going through my separation and initially divorce. It was a very hard time for me at the time, coming up in a family where both my parents were Christians, and divorce is not something that is basically looked at, and people don't go into marriage to get divorced. So it has been a real struggle for me because I never expected to go into marriage to be divorced, but
Yeah. Tell me about how you were able to work through it at that time and come out on the other end with a song of how you feel like you were saved, in effect, through an experience that I'm sure you're going to tell us all about.
Yeah, I guess the key part of it was actually my upbringing, my religious upbringing, where my parents, as I say, were Christians. My grandparents were also Christians, so I had a foundation of coming in the church and actually knowing God, and that was probably the most important aspect of the recovery of what I was going through, because at the point where you come to a point where there's no hope, you have that hope of, there is some person who, despite what you're going through, actually is there to be there for you in your lonely time, in your darkest moments, in your weakest moment, in the times where pain is so real that you don't know how to actually deal with it. Yeah.
So I know, some people might ask, and particularly for people who are far more ingrained in what's happening in the church and who have relatives who might be far more involved than others, some people may beg the question, why is it that you felt at that time where you felt like you were at your lowest or you felt down, didn't you go to those people around you or maybe, go back to the church to be able to guide you through it? Or was that a part of it? But at that stage, it just wasn't all that you needed at that time?
You see, being in the church is person must understand, that we too are susceptible to normal challenges like any person else. Now, for me as a man, it's hard for a woman, but it's even more difficult for a male, to actually get some support, because I find that people hear you, but they don't actually listen. And this sometimes the ideology that men are supposed to be strong, men are not supposed to be vulnerable. So when you go talk to people, they just hear you. They're not there to actually understand what you're going through, and that the fact that the pain is so real that it is crippling. And even within the church, you talk, and then it's marriage. So that's a very ticklish area,
Yeah.
even within the church. So as a man, or you probably see some person out there that you like, and you just want to separate. And even as a man, how y'all men are, and even the fact that I'm a police officer even made it worse, because there was actually a little handle, or how y'all policemen are. So they can't. There's basically not a separation between the fact, what I'm going through is actually real. I'm human.
Yeah.
Despite I'm a man, I'm human. And the fact that you need some person to realize, look, what I'm going through is actually real. It's painful. It's crippling. And because I didn't have that avenue,
Yeah.
I started to isolate myself. And in isolating myself, it started to bring on that depression. And when you're isolated, that's the time when the enemy started to creep in and started to make you have thoughts of actually taking your life, and that was a battle, because people say, oh, you don't have a reason to take your life, but you don't understand it until you actually find yourself in the position where that you're at your weakest, and you're trying to find hope, but there's no hope, because the people that you expect to be there for you are not really there for you. The times when you expect people to be there, you call people and there's no answer, or you say, let me call you back, but they don't actually call you back. So it's in those dark, lonely periods that you cry a lot, and you ask God, where are you?
Wow, and this song coming out of that really adds purpose to what you're doing. He saved me, and generally that's the message of the song, and that's the message you're saying, because that's what you went through. So make sure you check out this song, gospel singer Elton Prescott. We expect to see you performing all over the place.
Yes.
And we look forward to the actual video once it's out. We most certainly will share with our sister stations to be able to share this powerful message. Too often we've heard men talk about people not actually giving them the level of support that they need. So this is a message for us as well, in terms of how we engage, how we interact with the males, with the men in our society. Thanks again, Elton.
Thank you.
Time for another break. When we come back, another discussion, this time on special ed, as we get to the end part of today's presentation of Morning Barbados. Stay tuned.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
Every night, we bring you a complete look at the weather forecast, because keeping you safe and informed is our top priority. The CBC Weather Report, brought to you by Ace H&B Hardware, the helpful hardware.
Morning Barbados is on the move, and we're coming to you every weekday morning from right here at the Standard Showroom in Wildey. Now, together, we're giving you an opportunity to win. All you have to do is submit a photo of that room that you want to see changed in a fantastic way. and the interior design curator here at Standard, and all of their experts are going to get together and select the room that needs the most work. It just might be yours. All you have to do is submit your photo to info@standard.bb, and you could be here with us saying, "Morning Barbados, look at my beautiful space."
Morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning indeed. We just wanted to have a discussion about continuing talking about teaching and treating to special needs children. So we invited Christine Roberts to join us, and she's owner of Chrissy's Care, and they take care of special needs children in many, many ways. So good to have you with us.
Thank you for having me.
As a teacher of special needs children, what are we talking about? Because sometimes we talk about special needs children and we can't necessarily hold in on things that we can't see. So usually we can see there are certain conditions children have, but when we talk about special needs on the broad scale.
Special needs, it calls for a lot of patience, and you have to be passionate for the children. Because you can't see a physical disability, it's hard for us to understand and relate and try to be more helpful, because special needs children tend to look more normal, but then it's when you start to interact with them, you realize, oh, there are certain deficits. But because they have these deficits, does not mean that should not be included in other things. So at Chrissy's Care, we try to include them and give them as much of a normal life as any other child would.
I know that you offer certain types of therapies as well, namely speech therapy and things like that. But for parents who have little ones who are yet to be diagnosed, what advice do you have for them in terms of how they should approach getting the relevant help needed to take care of their little ones?
First thing, early intervention is always key. Get the child diagnosed is better, so you can start to help give them a better. They already have a advantage, so the way you can give them that is better. However, in Barbados, it's hard to get done. To do this, and then the other thing is the financial support. You can't afford to pay all these speech therapists. Then you might need a behavioral. But we started a non-profit, and persons donate to the non-profit, sponsor a child, so parents can get that support to help.
All right. A bit about those conditions that parents aren't able to pick up easily or readily, that might be happening, the challenges with their little ones. And we see this a lot in learning disabilities, where they might be in a regular classroom, or what we deem a regular classroom, and the teacher might be missing it or classifying it as something else because of the way they act out or what's happening. So let's talk about how you approach taking care of those particular students.
The first thing is to identify. When we identify, like, you realize your child writing B's and D's backward, that's a sign, that's a red flag for maybe dyslexia. You have a small child and you realize they're lining up all the toys, that might be a sign they're not social. You say, oh, maybe it's autism. But then when you recognize these things, persons tend to go into a little denial, and the parents get scared and they try to cover up for the child. But if you just accept it, it doesn't mean that you're a bad parent. It doesn't mean that your child is horrible. It just means that you might just need to give them a little bit more support. So when we first accept it and we see that the child has these situations, then you have to be more patient, give them more time. They might need to practice it 100 times to understand the difference between a D and a B. But once you are patient, encouraging, they need persons to be encouraging and supporting the child in this area so that they can get the help and support in terms of to work on what they're having trouble with. Socializing is another major thing that I realize special needs children are being kept at home and not socializing. Then you're saying because they don't have good behavior, but how are they going to get behavior if we are keeping them at home and not teaching them how to be social. So we keep Chrissy's Care, we try to keep them out. We try to take them to different things. We had a fun day on Saturday, and we taught them how to play with other children, how to communicate more. So you just need some persons to accept them, and we need not only parents, but we need society, we need workplaces to accept these children.
Thank you for the work that you're doing. Your background in early childhood education would play this, and all that the work that you do with them. But I thank you for your work as well, because in addition to that, you told us about this nonprofit that you are a part of to make sure that children who are less fortunate still have an opportunity to be able to excel. So congrats on all the work you're doing at Chrissy's Care.
Thank you very much.
All right, and thank you for being a part of today's show. We most certainly had a great time being with you. Coming up on tomorrow's program, we're going to be talking more about what's happening at the University of the West Indies, telling you how they're shaping up for their open week. Plus, Queen of the South, an open road tennis competition is coming up, and we're going to tell you how you can get involved with that if road tennis is your thing. Plus, Bamboo Retreat will be in. It's a long weekend. We want to make sure that you make the best of it. Maybe you need a little R&R, a little pampering to get to the next space. We want to let you know how Bamboo Retreat can do that for you. So that and a whole lot more coming up tomorrow on Morning Barbados. Go through your day. Remember to wear your smiles. Do something good for somebody. And tomorrow. Have a good one. Bye-bye.